All right, welcome everybody. Welcome back to the NoShameOBGYN Podcast. I'm Dan.
And I'm Fran.
And we are back for a whole other episode. And today, what are we talking about, Fran?
So today we're covering labor and delivery.
The basics.
The basics, but pretty much the whole what happens, what are you going to expect, the questions that maybe, again, you thought to yourself, but you might be a little too shy to say because they might make you feel a little funny. We're here to do that for you. So let's jump in, right?
All right, amazing.
All right, let's do it.
Where do we start with?
Okay, well, I've done this adventure 3 times. So I will tell you that going into the hospital period is a little daunting if you don't work there or live there or spend 4 years of your life living there. Or 13 years of your career there. But the first thing that happens is you go to the hospital, right? So whether you come from your doctor's office or your home and you call up and they say, well, your complaint is not triageable over the phone, then you come to the hospital.
So you got to get checked out in the hospital, basically.
Yeah. And honestly, most complaints need to be checked out in the hospital.
Correct. There's nothing that we could tell you really over the phone unless it's like a medication question. Like if you want a good answer from us, you need to be assessed by a provider, by anybody, by one of us, just to make sure that whatever your issue is it something that we need to acutely work on, or is it, you're fine kind of a thing. But a phone call is not the way for us to assess that.
No, we got to see, your head, shoulder, knees, and toes, and all in between before we can actually say everything's
shoulders,
good.
Knees and toes, knees and toes. Okay.
That's the shoulders.
That's just parents.
So you show up to the hospital and
first you call me in the middle of the night at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And you're like, Dr. Kleintov,
I'm having burning. or I think I'm in labor. Or I passed my mucus plug. Dun, dun, dun.
And nowadays with technology, I get the pictures and the portal messages of all of it.
So this is a good time to tell you that passing your mucus plug doesn't actually mean that you're going into labor. You could pass your mucus plug weeks before you actually go into labor.
Absolutely.
And you can pass it in pieces. So that disgusting snot-looking substance that's coming out of you means nothing.
And also in pregnancy, you generally just have more mucus, more discharge. That's a regular thing.
Yeah.
So just because you're in the 3rd trimester doesn't mean that that's what's happening. Like you're not in labor because of that. But maybe that means your cervix is doing something. But you don't know unless you
come and get checked out.
Right, exactly.
Right. And now just as a caveat, obviously you don't use this episode for medical advice, but what we're talking about are kind of your garden variety, low risk patients, because obviously if you're someone who has a short cervix or other medical issues in your pregnancy, kind of you should call your doctor whenever you think something's up, and you'll probably be assessed way more frequently than someone that's just kind of
everyone
going
needs
along.
patient-specific care.
Correct.
So everyone has their own thing, what's going on. We're really going to just kind of brush on and see like, hey, I go through labor and delivery, right? What does that mean?
Yeah.
So for example, Fran shows up in triage, right?
I do.
So like what happens? What, like you get seen by who?
Well, typically, and every facility differs, right? But what we're familiar with is the idea that a nurse will kind of talk to you about why you're there.
Right.
And then they will put you in a area to be assessed by somebody, whether they're a nurse practitioner, a resident doctor, a PA.
Right.
Very rarely is your doctor coming to check your cervix. I would say that is like...
Correct. So, for example,
How
right,
rare?
the situation that we're in, if you call me saying, I think I'm in labor, right, and it's 3 in the morning versus 9 in the morning when I'm most likely just there already doing other things. At 3 in the morning, we have a whole team set up at the hospital to kind of assess and triage, literally what that means, your situation. So the likelihood of you coming in at 2, 3, 4 in the morning, unless we're already there for something else, is that the most likely thing is you will not see your doctor in those moments.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Everyone is super skilled. They know what they're doing.
Correct.
They are literally ruling out these situations day in and day night at the hospital. Yep. So it's nothing that you need to worry about, but it is something we want you kind of to expect.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you'll never see your doctor when you're there.
Of course not.
Right.
So your nurse will do your intake, and then you'll get put in an area and you'll be placed on a monitor if you're over, usually it's 24 weeks, right? And so that's like those 2 straps, and it doesn't matter that we're in 2026, you're still wearing straps.
Straps.
That is what it is. So we strap you on up and we do what's called a non-stress test on your baby to just kind of it's like an EKG of your baby, so we can kind of take a snapshot of time and see if little one is happy with the current environment. And then
the other strap.
Well, the other strap measures if you're contracting or not.
Right.
Right. But then you get to meet either...
Well, one of the nurses you meet first, right? And then in the sense of like, then you go into triage and they're like, get your history. And then they call over and they're like, hey, we have this patient here, AB, whatever. And she's here for contractions.
Right.
That'll be your principal complaint or chief complaint as we learn. Mm-hmm. And then someone from the triage team comes over.
Yep.
Right?
And then you meet my best friend, the speculum.
I can guarantee that 50% of men, minimum, have never seen what the hell that is.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, by the time you've had a baby, 100% of patients will have met this girl right here.
Yeah, the patient.
The patient has met this girl right here.
I just want to explain to the men out in the world.
Ooh, don't drop my girly.
Yeah. I only learned about this medieval thing when I was in medical school in my OB-GYN rotation. I had no idea this is what they use for pap smears and
soft
exams.
summer child.
Yeah. So for the men, this is what world is like for your partners, for the women in your life. And this is what you expect in labor and delivery on triage. What do we use this for? In triage, let's just say.
All right. So for the most part, if you come in with any kind of bleeding,
right.
Any kind of complaint about discharge, thinking maybe your water broke, I'm breaking this bad boy out because I want to literally see.
It's bright.
Hello, I know. The best part of this is that it's a built-in flashlight. That's a recent thing. Not every place will have that, and this is a perk because otherwise I'm sitting there with like an excavator's helmet and like trying to see into the dark. But we use this to, we say, and then we look inside.
We don't say,
I do. I'm like, say, and they're like, I'm like, yep, that's it. I swear to God. And then...
I'm the one married to the dentist.
Yeah, well, you know what, though? If the shoe fits, you wear it. So then we put this in, we look, and then we'll do different tests to kind of assess.
If I ever told a woman to say, and I walk in with this... Okay, yeah, carry on.
Listen.
Okay, so we are assessing bleeding, right? Or maybe if you broke your water. So this is one of the tests that we kind of go in there and look and see, and we look at the cervix, and we sometimes see if the cervix is dilated or not, but really it's to see what kind of discharge we're having. Okay, you doing good, Fran? Great.
I'm doing great. I'm having a good time. I'm having so fun.
Amazing.
So much fun.
So then when we look in there, sometimes we can see a lot of fluid. And that fluid we test and we kind of see where is this fluid coming from? What is it? Is it clear fluid? Is it bloody fluid? Everything has a different kind of course of where this can go. And of course, this is not to teach you OB-GYN right now in a nutshell. That literally is a whole career in itself, but in most situations, let's just say for simplicity, we see a lot of fluid, right? That'd be great. And that's something that we call pooling. That might be a word that you might hear somewhere on Google or
grossly ruptured, which does not mean gross in a sense of like ew. It means gross like I can see it with my eyeballs instead of using the microscope, which is what I would have to do if something's not super obvious.
Right. The nurse will call us and be like, hey, her whole bed is filled with fluid. Like we don't need to do a magical test at that point. Like we just understand she most likely broke her water.
Yeah. And then similarly, we will then, look to see if there's any bleeding. If you have a history of herpes, we'll look to see if there's any lesions in your vagina or on your cervix that maybe you are not aware of.
Right. And also and again, we're not getting into many complicated things, but there are serious situations like placenta previas, vasa previas, and usually the patients, and hopefully they do know about their medical history and they could tell us, hey, I also have a previa. So that's when we definitely only want to use a speculum and not do a digital, which means with our fingers, and examine that way to irritate anything. So the speculum is a really important and useful tool in many situations. And
But
does that help you see how dilated someone is?
Sometimes. No. So the answer is really we use our finger calipers to measure dilation.
Correct.
But I will tell you, when I first started, I was still so green and like assessing a patient, and a little lady came into triage, and she was like wincing and groaning, but not like out of control or anything. It was her first baby. So I grabbed, my trusty speculum, and she's like, I think my water broke. I'm like, cool. Now, Fran right now would have been like, it's irrelevant. She's clearly in labor. She's panting. Just check her cervix, see if she's dilated. Fran back then was like, no, her chief complaint is, did she break her water? Right. So I put the speculum in.
What'd you see?
A fucking head fucking burrowing at me, coming right at me. And I was like, oh, Jesus. And I was like, I think you're ruptured. I think it doesn't matter. Let's get you an epidural, shall we? And she was like, yes, please.
I think for anyone that just starts out in the career, like for an intern, that's like a
woo. So that was, but no. So after the speculum's out, we'll almost always do a digital exam unless, like Dr. Dan was mentioning, there's something that precludes that. We can't do it.
Right.
And we'll use our finger calipers. So how did you learn how to check a cervix?
A ruler.
A ruler.
And I don't care what anyone says. Half the people on the labor floors are wrong. They're 1 centimeter on and off.
We are all wrong, but we're all wrong.
I don't care what anyone.
Yeah,
whatever. So we literally take our fingers, just these two.
Okay.
I have little baby fat fingers, but whatever.
Me too. Oh,
I have little fingers. I know.
Oh my God, he's got gynecology
when I was born,
hands, guys.
No, so that's a lie. So my mother always said, oh my God, you have little hands, you're going to be a gynecologist, like as a joke. And here we are, whoop-de-doo. But then, as we know, one of our good friends on the labor floor, who has the best fingers? The long, skinny
the
fingers.
ET fingers.
Correct.
Ouch. Yeah.
And you know who everyone we're talking about. And all kudos to her, because we call her for everything.
There's a couple of them, actually.
Well, that's fair, but that's what I'm saying. So we'll talk about that. But whatever. Yeah. So you take a ruler and you literally just measure. So I like to measure the distance between the outsides of my fingers. So when I feel a cervix, which is like a circle, and I go and feel
Imagine the onion from Benihana's. Or like any hibachi place when they make that onion tower. If you took that tower apart and stuck a finger into each of the ring of the onion, that could be how you learned how to, because that's essentially the
that's
same.
exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
That's exactly what we're doing.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I couldn't. That analogy was too
No,
good.
I mean, as soon as you said onions, I thought of ogres. Ogres are like onions.
Just peel them back.
From Shrek. Layers.
I love that movie. Okay.
Okay, great. So,
back to where we were.
Fingers. Okay, let's ruling out labor. So then that's part of the exam. So that's our basic exam after we've assessed the baby's well-being with the monitor, seeing how dilated someone else is, seeing if they broke their water. So let's say that's just the core of what triage is all about. There's other stuff that we look into, blood work, things like that, but I don't think there's a point of getting into all that stuff right now. That's a little bit more obviously nuanced. Involved and definitely where it's important for your for your own health to figure out with your physician.
Right, exactly.
All right, cool. So let's say I think that patients are 370 minus 3. What does that mean?
So that is shorthand for your 3 centimeters dilated.
Right.
Your 70% effaced.
Which is also a lie. Everyone is wrong. We have all different effacements.
Yes.
But sure.
Well,
what is effacement? Like, let's explain what that is.
That's what I was going to go with.
Yeah.
So imagine,
picture
your cervix or a cervix.
Your cervix.
Yeah, dude.
Is like a tunnel.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
But just don't touch mine.
I was gonna grab it, but okay. So your cervix is this little bulb of tissue at the end of your uterus, right? Your uterus is like that, and then really the cervix is up and down, right?
Correct.
But for this illustration, it's sideways. Okay, you're laying down in this illustration.
Normally your cervix, let's say, is like 3 to 4 centimeters. Long. The length of it from here to here, even though this isn't, it's usually 3 to 4 centimeters long.
Yeah.
So when we put our fingers in, we're trying to see the length of your cervix. So if it's, if it is 4 centimeters long, that means you are not effaced. So that's a 0. So the 0% effaced. If we think it's half, that means 50%. That means it's like 2 centimeters long. If it's 70 or 75, it's maybe like 1 centimeter or even smaller probably at that point. And then if we think it's fully effaced, meaning there's just no length of the cervix left, that's 100% effaced.
Yes.
So that's what those mean.
And when you're 100% effaced, if your cervix will feel like paper mache. It's like
so it's a paper thin.
So thin.
We felt like paper thin cervixes at this point.
Yes. Okay. And then the last part of that phrase, right, 370 minus 3, is where the baby is sitting in relation to your butt bones, right?
Correct.
So where your butt touches the chair when you're sitting up, that is called zero station, okay? Not where your pubic bone is, where you could feel on the outside, but your sits bones, right? When you do yoga, you hear about sits bones a lot. So your pelvis is...
Yoga, the sits bones?
They talk about go on your sits bones, like your butt. They don't call it your butt, they call it your sits bones.
Huh.
Yeah. So as the baby descends, you go from negative to positive. So -4, 3, 2, -1, and then 0 is at the level of those bones.
And there's like a whole illustration, and that took years for my training.
That was the most difficult thing to understand, because you really have to understand pelvic anatomy, and that varies
and then
so
also
much.
the patient-specific pelvic anatomy.
Correct. I'm saying.
Some people don't even feel for the bones that they need to feel for, which also can be uncomfortable for the patient too. But if you want a true exam, the fingers interiorly should feel where those bones are.
Yeah.
So
when you're wondering why we're in there for so long,
it does offer us a lot of information.
We are taking our time feeling how dilated you are, how effaced you are, where the baby is in relation to your pelvic anatomy.
Right.
And then sometimes if we have access, we'll actually try to feel which way the baby is facing. So we feel the scalp of the baby and look for the creases in the skull, which we call fontanelles, so we can see which way the baby's facing. And that's when you hear people say, oh, I had a C-section because my baby was sunny side up, or because the baby was looking to the side. The truth is, in early labor, babies just...
everywhere.
They are just looking around. They're excited to be... They're not engaged yet, right? Engagement
not
is
like in the pelvis.
Boom, right?
And now they're just like floating. And until they get like crunk in there, that's when it's like, okay, now we're seeing how they descend inwards.
And there are certain movements we call cardinal movements, which are important for the labor process. And we'll get a little bit into that more in the labor segment of this chat. But just suffice to know that there's so much information we glean from a regular exam.
It might look like we're doing it for like 2 minutes, but there's so much that we get out of that. And also that one exam is a snapshot.
Yes.
But the progression of those exams gives a full story. So I think that's where it's super important. So that first exam that whoever does, you know, and usually it's like not your physician who's probably at home sleeping, right?
Or in the OR or busy or whatever.
Right, whatever it is.
Or trust us to do it because they trust us to do it.
Probably sleeping, which is fine. But that is your start. That is your initial, that is the start of your labor curve. That is just where you exist. And in the more complicated cases, that is really important when it's very early in your pregnancies and whatnot. So that's really where it comes in handy. All right. I'm in labor.
Wait, no.
Oh, I'm not in labor.
Not yet. There is one thing I do want to add. It's really important, I think. If we send you home.
Okay.
I'm saying this for the crowd if you're pregnant or you know someone that's pregnant. It is always important to know that we are all fallible, right? So if we say your water's not broken right now, that is not to say that we just didn't have enough of a sample to get a good read or you just tricked us because your baby was plugging that leak or whatever. When you go home, you need to keep an eye on certain things, and whatever your doctor or PA or NP or whomever, before they let you go home, they're gonna give you that information. It's so important to keep track of that because I cannot tell you how many patients will be pissed at me. They'll be 1 or 2 centimeters. I'm like, you're not in labor yet. You're still in early labor. If that, go home, go eat, go take a shower, go relax, go nap. Because those are none of the things you'll be able to do when you're stuck in the bed with, in labor and delivery. They go home, they come back in 2 hours, they're 3. They're mad at me, but I'm like, no, you did exactly what you needed to
amazing.
do.
That's good. Yeah.
You are announcing your labor, you're letting your body do its own thing, and I had nothing to do with it. I did not intervene in any way, shape, or form, and that's a beautiful thing. So
and labor curves are different. My wife, the first labor, she was prodroming for like 3-4 days.
Prodroming means that you're contracting painfully, but not making any change to your cervix, not opening at all.
And she'll see this and she'll understand.
That's torture.
That's torture.
It's torture because it hurts. It hurts no matter what.
And we really shouldn't intervene in those moments because there is a nature component to this, and I think a lot of stuff in medicine is, you throw pills at something and you try to fix something. We always want to fix, right? But sometimes you have to let things happen.
Yeah.
And sometimes time is the answer, and just letting things
Absolutely.
occur the way they should. And
Correct.
if you're contracting and there's slow progress, let it be.
Right.
Let
Slow
it be.
progress is still progress.
Correct.
So,
And it shouldn't be fast progress. This is not
No.
active labor, right?
Right,
This is
right.
the latent phase. This
right.
is early.
And even just what is the definition of labor for all our friends out there that aren't in medicine?
Just simply put,
Simply put.
painful contractions and making cervical change. Those two have to go hand in hand together.
Right.
And if you make change from 1 to 2 centimeters, that is cervical change. And if you're painfully contracting, that means you're painfully contracting and making cervical change. That doesn't mean that's an automatic admission.
Correct.
That means that, hey, everything is going the way it should. Let's ride it out.
Yeah.
It's great.
Don't fix what's not broken.
Correct. Correct.
And then the next part of that, which is also really critical, is knowing that you are allowed and encouraged to come back to that hospital as many times as you need.
Yeah.
We work 24/7, 365 for a reason, and it's because we want to be there for you when we need to be. So there is a law called EMTALA, which is the Emergency Medical Treatment Active Labor Act.
I know what it is. I don't know what it stands for.
EMTALA pretty much means that no matter what race you are,
Correct.
what race, religion,
Green, black,
creed,
blue, yellow, orange,
and not
purple,
even
and
just
pink.
that, ability to pay. Are you a
Correct.
citizen? Are you not a citizen?
Does not matter.
Do you have insurance? Do you not have insurance? It literally is irrelevant. You show up to a hospital, and EMTALA is a federal law. You need to be taken care of.
And you will be taken care of.
And no one will be calling anyone. Let's just say
Correct.
you're there and your wife or partner is undocumented. No one's going to call anyone. That's not part of the gig. That's not a
Correct.
mandatory thing. You don't have to do anything about that unless.
We are taking
Yeah.
care of you no matter what.
Right. There's no even
Whatever
unless.
the
That's
situation
actually
is.
it.
If you are in labor, if you broke your water, you are with us and we're going to help you out.
And you're
that's-
protected.
That's it.
And you're protected. You need to know that hospitals are a
Correct.
safe
Do
place.
not be scared.
Correct.
Correct.
They're a safe place for you.
Correct.
And I think that not a lot of people know that, and it's important because you should never feel afraid to go.
Also, if you get sent home, another thing to think about, your physician knows. So, let's say you haven't seen your physician,
Yeah.
and you've been seeing, Dr. Kaitov this whole friggin' time. You're like, well, where the hell is he? Probably asleep.
Yeah.
But most likely, if it's 3 a.m, probably asleep.
Yeah.
But sometimes I am there. Sometimes I'm there doing a C-section, delivering another baby, doing an emergency surgery, or whatever time of day it is. And if you're 1 centimeter and thankfully everything's okay and nothing's emergent, and we send you home, they let me know everything. I'm aware and I'm on call. So therefore, they tell you, hey, come back if something changes. You break your water, you're bleeding, anything like that.
Bring,
You come
bring,
back
bring.
in. Yeah.
Bring, bring, bring. Where's your phone?
Oh,
Oh,
I don't want to pick it up.
Hey, Dr. Kaitov, it's Francine.
Hi.
Hi, are you sleeping?
No, I'm so awake. How can I help you?
Oh, I'm calling because Mrs. Jones was here. It's her first baby.
Yeah.
She thinks she's in labor, but she's only a centimeter. She
Okay.
was a centimeter yesterday.
Okay.
So no progress just yet. But
How's her tracing?
Her tracing is category 1, which means beautiful for labor. It is reactive, which means that the baby's non-stress
words.
test is
Sick.
reassuring to us at this time. So I'm going to send her home. She's contracting every few minutes, but she's not requiring anything for pain just yet. So I'm going to let her go home, come back and see you guys in the morning, or she'll come back sooner if she gets more uncomfortable. Sounds good?
Have a good night.
Yep, bye. Now, he won't even remember we had this conversation.
But I'm going to tell her, can you just text me the patient's name and date of birth?
Yes.
so I can write a note in the morning.
Yep. Your doctors are retired. They work hard. So we'll text them that information because they will be like, was that a fever dream? Did we really speak last night?
Or Fran will call me and be like, Danny, she's 10 centimeters.
Oh, that's the best
And
one.
that's one of those things I'm like,
Hello, Danny.
what's up?
You need to start blowing the red lights.
Oh, no.
You need to start
What is
speeding through the light.
Fran, what is she?
She's fully, and
All right,
she
I'm
wants
out.
to push.
I'm out.
And he's hung up before I even said,
Hung
and
up.
push.
I have I have a shoe on and the pant half
This
on
is
the
why
other
I
leg.
give you guys so much credit
Yeah,
because
out the door.
that to me is so anxiety provoking. And
Yeah.
I know, listen, that's just the nature of the game. That's why we have doctors at the hospital whose job it is to to catch babies for people, like.
And I'm also going to drive safe to the hospital.
Yes.
Like, you know, like some people, like if it's their 4th kid and the baby's coming, honestly, that's a dream. That's what we want. And like everything's flowing quick. We always have physicians, and I take call for the hospital. We deliver babies sometimes when the physician just can't make it in time, which is fine. It's great. Like it means that the labor curve went quick. But when I hear that phone call, I mean, I'll tell you, the first year after I graduated, I couldn't fall asleep.
I would not be able to fall asleep.
I was like, what if I miss my phone ringing?
Oh my God.
Even like the text from the service being like, hey, there's an emergency or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I couldn't fall asleep the first year.
Yeah.
The first year was rough.
I don't blame you. I wouldn't be able to.
The first year was rough.
I'd probably sleep at the hospital.
And I think for the first couple of weeks, even though I'm like a 20-minute drive at night, like unless they're 1 centimeter, I'm there. I like live there. Yeah. That was.
See, it's behind the scenes, people.
Yeah. Well, and it's this is not on you. This is our thing. We chose this career.
Yeah.
I could have been a bougie dermatologist and lived my best life, but I chose this and I love it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it's an amazing part and part of someone's life to be a part of.
Yeah.
So I know that's the choice I made, and so therefore when Frank calls me, and she'll never tell me she's 10 centimeters.
9.
That's a rule.
9.5.
9.5 centimeters, because that means a lot of things on labor and delivery. So she's 9.5, and to me it means okay, she's fully dilated and the baby's coming out. And I got to get there quick. But it just like gives everyone else on the labor floor like saying, okay, maybe she has a little time, so I could make there. So yeah, so that's that.
Industry secrets.
Industry secrets.
If you're 10, you're really 9.5.
9.5.
So we can get you your epidural.
Or the Harry Potter 9 3/4.
9
Whatever you want to pull it. whatever
we
you
run
want to
right at that wall. Let me tell you.
Right at that wall. Mm-hmm.
And then after your triage assessment, you either go home, right?
Right.
Or you stay and have a baby. I don't know.
Okay. And that is your loving triage experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Come back for more.
Come back next week and we will discuss the experience of birth. Bye, guys.
Bye.